What's up, fight fans? Welcome to my channel. This is Johnny, and in today's video we're going to be taking a closer look at the statistics that nobody talks about when mentioning this weekend's world title fight at 154 pounds in Las Vegas between the champion Sebastian Fundora and the challenger Keith Thurman. Before we continue, I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's been with me since day one. If you haven't already, could you please remember to hit subscribe? Also, become a VIP member of our world famous Johnny Says Boxing professional betting Discord. Within this Discord, you'll have access to our boxing channels, MMA channels, basketball, football. Australian fans, we launched AFL, rugby, all pro sports. There's sharps in every channel. You can become a member here on YouTube or our brand new Patreon. It's a couple bucks a month. Whichever one you choose to support us, you get access to that Discord. The link is pinned in the comment section below to find out more. All right, guys, this fight was scheduled months ago, rescheduled, and finally we are at fight week. Fingers crossed that this goes down in only a few days in Vegas between the champion Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman. Guys, when this got announced, I was excited because you can't really pick more contrasting of styles, characters, personality types, and careers. With Keith Thurman, we last saw him down here in Australia fighting Brock Jarvis. This guy, we know when you talk about Keith Thurman, the word that jumps off the paper is inactivity. Since 2019, he's fought 2 times. Manny Pacquiao 2019, then Mario Barrios in 2022, and then Brock Jarvis last year. You could call that Brock Jarvis fight a fight. It lasted all of about 7.5 minutes. I must explain, I've been watching content creators on YouTube. You can't talk about the Brock Jarvis fight and the Keith Thurman fight without talking about that Brock Jarvis was a guy who got stopped against Liam Perro at 140 pounds, started his career at 135, maybe even lighter than that, and this fight was scheduled at 154. You also have to mention, Keith Thurman is a welterweight. He cut his teeth at 147. This fight going into the weekend is at 154 pounds. When Keith Thurman is at his best, he's an athletic, explosive, good counter boxer. One time for a reason. He has power. We've only seen him lose 1 time, and that was to Manny Pacquiao. When I think about that Manny Pacquiao fight, I think about that swivel jab in which Thurman walked right on. He got dropped. The questions are all going to be about the ring rust. The questions are going to be about how much does Thurman have left? How much does he really want it? How's he going to look in a new division? Will his power carry up? How is he going to handle with the problem in front of him that we call the towering inferno in the world champion Seb Fundora? We know every time we see him, we see a kid who continuously levels up. He also has a blemish on his career, that stoppage loss to Brian Mendoza, a fight in which it got stopped in the 7th, and he was up on all of the scorecards. It's interesting that people still judge fighters based off of a performance, but since then, we've seen him come back, we've seen him rebuild, we've seen him stop Tim Tszyu, we've seen him stop Cordell Booker, we've seen this guy beat everybody who they put in front of him since then. With Sebastian Fundora, you have a lot to deal with. Physically, you have a lot to deal with the 6'6" frame. We know about the physical advantages. But if I have to be truthful, I'm looking at a guy who every time I see him adds a little bit more to his game. You're looking at a guy who his family built a compound. They literally live in a gym, more or less. We know about his sister Gabby. We know about her skill set in the Fighting Fundora family. So this world title fight has a lot of questions and a lot of excitement all around it. In this video, what we're gonna do is break down both fighters' careers. We're gonna talk a little bit about how they go about their business. And like always, stay tuned to the end of the video. That's where I'll be going over the current Las Vegas odds, and I'll be giving you my prediction, telling you where to put your money. Guys, Keith Thurman is what makes boxing great. A Keith Thurman fight week, even though we haven't had many of them over the last decade, is a great place to be. He's adored by the media. Everybody that I've known who spoke to him had nothing but great things to say with him. But when I talk about the name Keith Thurman as a fighter, in my opinion, over the last decade, he's one of the biggest what-if stories in the sport. You go back around a decade ago, you look at his resume, he has wins over Danny Garcia, the Sean Porter victory, the Ghost Guerrero victory, the Colazzo victory. But since 2019, a phrase that I use on my channel all the time, and if you guys have been here a while, you'll know what I'm about to say. What have you done for me lately? This guy's gonna be 38 years old in November. Over the last 7 years, he's had more surgeries than he's had fights. Elbow surgery, hand surgery, wrist surgery, bicep surgery. And it really makes me hesitant when I put my sports betting hat on in terms of, do I want to risk money on a 37, 38-year-old who's been super inactive, who's never fought at 154 pounds. I'm not including the Brock Jarvis fight. That wasn't a real junior middleweight fight. So all in all, there are a lot of questions that we're going to see answered. We'll see if he still has the things that made him great. A Keith Thurman in his prime was a Keith Thurman who relied on his speed, his reflexes, his athleticism, who relied on all of those aforementioned skills to get him out of danger on his defense. Never been the most defensively sound guy, hands down, could get caught exiting out of the pockets. Leaky defense in the pocket, really doesn't like getting hit to the body too much. So when you're talking about a guy who's going up against a 6'6" southpaw who likes to fight in the pocket, who's long, who sits down on his punches, who's mean, who's aggressive in there, who's a volume puncher in Seb Fundora, I think Keith Thurman has a tall hill to climb. Fundora is a guy who, when he starts punching downhill and starts getting into his rhythm, he's really tough to beat. You talk to some of his former opponents and they all say that this guy hits a lot harder than people think. The pressure of his style at 6'6" is a lot to deal with. The minute you get hit with a clean jab, you're getting hit to the body. The minute you get hit to the body, he's all over you. The last thing Thurman wants to do is get stuck on those ropes, and he's going to have to use his footwork. Thurman's cardio and gas tank better be on point. I feel that in a style such as Fundora, when you look at his statistics, he averages 70 to 80 punches per round thrown versus Thurman 50 to 60 thrown, and that was Thurman at his best. Fundora is going to have the volume advantage. He's going to have the pace. He's going to have the size. How will these styles mesh? It's what we all want to know. Right now, I do want to take a closer look at Keith Thurman and see what he's been up to in his career. Guys, Keith Thurman is 31-1. Of his 31 wins, 23 of them come by way of knockout. His one loss was a decision. He's not currently ranked at 154 pounds due to inactivity. He's fought a career total of 175 pro rounds and carries in the ring a 74% career knockout to win ratio. His adoring fans know him as a one-time, and the American is a 5'9" orthodox fighter with a 69-inch reach. He was born in Clearwater, Florida, and lives in St. Petersburg, Florida, USA. We last saw him fight against Brock Jarvis, 22-1, stopped him in the third. Mario Barrios, 26-1, won a UD in the 12th. Manny Pacquiao, 61-7, lost a split in the 12th. Josecito Lopez, 36-7, won a majority decision in the 12th. Danny Garcia, 33-0, won a split decision in the 12th. He fought Danny Garcia in 2017, almost 10 years ago. I have to keep reiterating that. I have to remind everybody, before you bet on Keith Thurman, these things you must weigh in on. You must think about the inactivity. You must think about the size disadvantage, the height disadvantage, the reach disadvantage, the age disadvantage. You also must have to think about, he doesn't have a lot of experience going up against a guy, nobody does, who's 6'6". Who has he ever fought that looks like that? His best wins are close decision wins over guys, in my opinion, Danny Garcia, a potential Hall of Famer, best win. Some people say DSG won that fight. The win over Sean Porter is a good win. Some people say Porter won that fight. So all in all, I have to see how much does Thurman want this. Is he doing this just to prove something to himself, or is he doing this to make a splash at 154? Because if he gets past Fundora, 154, when you think about stylistic matchups, if this is the same guy, if he does have his feet, it's going to come down to his balance, his feet, his cardio. Does he have power there, and his reflexes? These are a lot of questions to ask. If he gets past Fundora, I mean, him versus Josh Kelly to unify, could you imagine Thurman on a unification tour? I mean, it'd be good for the sport. So part of me is cheering for him, but you know, the other part of me is what my dad always said, Johnny, bet with your wallet, never with your heart. Let's look at the world champion. Guys, Fundora is 23-1. Of his 23 wins, 15 of them are by way of knockout. His one loss, he got stopped against Brian Mendoza. He does have a draw. Out of 2,387 fighters in the world at 154, he's ranked 4. He's fought a career total of 139 pro rounds and carries in the ring a 65% career knockout to win ratio. He is the WBC World Super Welterweight Champion. His adoring fans know him as the Towering Inferno, and the 28-year-old southpaw is a 6'6" fighter with an 80-inch reach. He was born in West Palm Beach, Florida, but calls Coachella, California, USA home. We last saw him fight Tim Tszyu, 25-2, stopped him in the 7th. Cordell Booker, 23-1, stopped him in the 4th. Tim Tszyu, 24-0, split decision in the 12th. Brian Mendoza, 21-2, he got stopped in the 7th. Carlos Ocampo, 34-1, won a UD in the 12th. The fight before that, he fought Erickson Lubin, and he stopped Erickson Lubin. Sebastian Fundora is a fun guy to watch. Every time he fights, I tune in. This is a guy that if you followed him since he turned pro, you've watched him level up. You've watched him grow from a little boy's physique to a more masculine physique. He's sitting on his punches more. He has more power now. You can see in the 28-year-old, he believes in himself. He is a confident guy. And for anybody in that division, for anyone at 154, it's just a tough matchup. This past week, you heard Tim Tszyu as he's getting ready for his next fight, a pre-fight, preparing for hopefully a big fight against Errol Spence Jr. He talked about fighting Seb Fundora wasn't just about the size, reach, and height. It was about handling his power in different spaces. You look at a guy who's that tall and you expect him to be more comfortable on the outside, which he can be if he uses the jab, but his instincts, his innate nature, the fighter within Fundora wants to be on the inside. And against Thurman, I don't see a lot of comfortability with Thurman on the inside. I've seen him hurt to the body. He's leaky with his defense in the pocket. You know he's going to want to throw those looping hooks over the top. It's pretty much the chance he has to hurt Fundora. Will his power even carry up at 37, 38 years old in a new weight class? Only time will tell. Guys, before I go over these current Las Vegas odds, I want to remind everybody that I do live streams every day. I'll be going live after this video. In these live streams, we don't just talk about the main events. There's cards in the UK. There's cards in the States. We talk about the UFC. We go over our long parlays, props of the week, knockouts of the week, underdogs of the week, that sort of thing. In these Stats Done Live videos, you're only going to get my money line prediction. Be sure to turn notifications on for my channel so you never miss a daily live stream. And also join our Discord, become a JSB Insider. Click the link that's pinned in the comment section below. All right, guys, wherever you are in the world, let's pull out our betting apps. Currently on the money line, the champion, Seb Fundora, is a $1.27 favorite. 100 on Fundora gets your money back, plus 27 bucks. Keith Thurman, one time, is a $4.27 dog. 100 on him gets your money back, plus $321. He is a 3-1 underdog. Now, usually this is the segment of the show where I'm reaching for my hat and I'm picking the underdog, but I don't think I'm going to do it this time. I just think when we're talking logic, when we're talking how this fight is going to go, path to victories, I just see too many for Sebastian Fundora. I don't like the inactivity. I don't like the age. I don't like the size gap. I don't like the physical disadvantages from Keith Thurman. And mentally, I don't know why he's doing this. He says he really wants to become a world champion. This is his opportunity. I just think the Towering Inferno will be too much. I think Seb's pressure, his pace, his volume, his power, his backhand, and pay attention to the uppercut in the pocket. I'm usually predicting moneyline picks in this Stats Done Live show, but I already placed a bet 4 days ago when the props dropped. It's not quite plus money, but I used it in a double knockout prop parlay. Yes, you heard it right. I'm picking Seb Fundora to stop Keith Thurman. Guys, this is not an echo chamber. In the comment section below, let me know at the end of the fight, are we going to hear and still for Fundora or and new for Keith Thurman? Guys, stay tuned to the channel. We have a lot of fights to go over, and I'll see you in the next one.